Caleb Williams is clapping back at his critics yet again, and Ben Johnson is hinting at some major lineup changings coming for the Chicago Bears. Plus, Montez Sweat and the rookies are lining up to give this Bears team a big shot in the arm in this playoff push. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And Caleb Williams has responded to critics who talk about the Bears getting the close wins. It's something we've talked about here. A lot of people look at the Bears, the schedule and things like that, and they are trying to find and poke holes in why the Chicago Bears aren't really as good as what their record is telling them. And Caleb Williams, for that matter, had some really, I think, poignant quotes in regards to that. He said this: "You don't apologize for wins, for any wins in this league." I think that's a historic organization over there. They got a bunch of great athletes, a bunch of great coaches, and things like that. Like I said, you don't want to apologize, but you do understand where you can be as a team, what we could have done out there, and that's the frustrating part. It starts with me, and it funnels down to everyone else. Missing a few passes and a couple of passes recently that I've been kind of just surgical with, missing those passes today, and it was frustrating. But trying to stay positive for the guys, just knowing what type of game it was going to be. They were running the ball well and stuff like that. We were using a lot of clock, so we weren't going to have many possessions. And so, it's good to see awareness from Caleb Williams in regards to, how the Bears are winning and the comments around it, right? Like, and I love that he put the onus on him. It starts with me. He talked about him missing some throws, something that, some of the biggest Bears naysayers do still point out about this team, and that's fair, right? But I think that the part of the quote that matters the most in what Caleb Williams says, or that sticks the most to me, is that you don't apologize for any wins in this league. You just don't. The wins are so hard to come by in this league. I think people forget, too, that any team can lose on any given Sunday, and the Bears, for what it's worth, has been close to that, but they found ways to dig out wins when it matters the most. So, yeah, saying things like, oh, well, the Bears haven't faced off against some of the best competition, or, oh, my God, but the Bears are winning, but they're doing so with it being close in the fourth quarter. Who gives a flying fuck? This is a team that we're talking about hasn't had double-digit wins in God knows how long, right? And so now we're looking at the Bears learning, and we already knew that this was a team that was going to have to learn how to win. And so now that this team is learning how to win and doing it in a way, in different ways every single time, that now people are looking at that and now trying to figure out and say, oh my God, well, this isn't, we're not doing this the right way because we're not winning adamantly or whatever else it is. We are a young team under a first-year head coach that had a idiot in the head coaching position for the last few years, that no telling how much he's actually hurt teams and hurt the morale and hurt the chemistry and hurt all type of stuff like that, being at the head of that. Now, the Bears have the onus in that. They decided to keep the motherfucker around. But let's be clear here, man. Let's be clear here. You gotta look at this team and look at what they're doing and how they're growing and just figure it out. Like, it's gonna be okay. Like, how the Bears are winning right now, I'm not mad at all. I've said it before, and I've said it like this, and I'll say it again. You can learn to win now, and then you fine-tune it and you make it pretty. And I'm perfectly fine with that happening. But we're talking about a team that last season had 5 wins. The year before that had 7 wins. The year before that had 3 wins. We haven't had a double-digit win season since 2018, where we finished first in the NFC North. 2018. It's about to be 2026. That's how long it's been. And then even if you look at it before then, the last time we had double-digit wins before then was 2012. So you can take all that shit that people are trying to throw on this team for how they've gotten to 8-3, and you can take it, you can ball it up, and you can shove it up your ass with your feelings. That's how I feel about it, because I don't give a damn how this team is winning right now. Let's get to being winning first. And then hopefully we can follow it up. We haven't followed up a double-digit win season with a double-digit win season at all since 2005 and 2006. That was the last time the Bears had double-digit winning seasons in back-to-back years. And we won the NFC North in both those years. That's how long it's been since we've been able to follow that up. So, listen, the Bears aren't winning pretty. The Bears aren't winning any awards by the way that they're winning. But guess what? They're getting wins. They're getting it done. And now they've beaten a team above 500, which they hadn't done in over a month and a half. People judged them by that, right? They did it against a team that, yeah, it was ugly that they and how they did it, but they got it done. Every question that's been put in front of this Bears team has answered in some shape, form, or fashion. Yet it's the goalpost that continually gets moved by people both are Bears fans and that are doubtful. And then, of course, the lamestream national media that doesn't know how to talk about our Chicago Bears at all. All these factors keep factoring. I'll tell you what, the Bears are one of the most dangerous 8-3 teams that you guys are going to find. And the way that they're doing it is the thing that makes it, because, yeah, you can say what you will, right? And that kind of leads us into the next topic, right? Oh, before we get into that, I want to get to this last quote from Caleb Williams. He said this: trying to be positive for those guys and not get frustrated in those situations. Then from there, I said it before, we've got to learn from, it's nice when you get to learn from wins and you find ways when you have mess ups or all these different things to find ways to win, but also understand that we have so much left in the tank and we can be so much better. And this team can be so much better. They aren't done yet. It's not done yet. This Bears team isn't nearly a finished product yet. And therefore, have some patience, practice some patience, because as we're growing and getting through this, I tell you what, there's some things that are looking really good about this Bears team. And one of those things are with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams' ability to not throw interceptions and not turn the ball over is something that I think needs to be talked about more. Of course, I would ideally like Caleb Williams' completion percentage to at least be more around 63 to 65% by the season's end. If he can get to that place by the end of the season, I think it's in a solid place, right? But Caleb Williams has played 28 games in the NFL and has only thrown 10 interceptions in those games. To put it quite plainly, Caleb Williams is damn near elite at not turning the ball over and putting the ball in the opposition's hands. He's going to do some, right? And there are some things that he is falling short on at all. I don't want to act like those things don't exist, but he has an interception rate of 1.1%. That is amazing. He averages only he only averages 6 interceptions over a 17-game span is what it looks like right now. And his touchdown to interception ratio is nearly 4-1. He's thrown 36 touchdowns in the NFL and have only thrown 10 picks. That's it. He's thrown interceptions in only 8 of 28 games as well. And in the 28 games that he's not turn the ball over, the Bears are 10-10 in those games. They're 3-5 in games where he does throw an interception. So what does that mean? That Caleb Williams' ability to hold on to the ball and to not give up the ball is something that can definitely help in the playoffs. And as much as people say that the Bears aren't learning from these close wins or try to doubt that, I tell you what, when you watch playoff football it's grinded out. It comes down to the last stretch. And I'm not saying that automatically means that the Bears are going to be prepped and ready for some huge run in the playoffs, but it still does show that early in his career, while he's still growing and developing certain aspects that everyday quarterbacks need, Caleb Williams is already showing a proficiency in some areas that, again, if you want to deny it, that's just you being a hater, right? You can talk about some of the things like I do here. I always talk about Caleb Williams, the missed opportunities, the missed throws. I talk about that because that is something that he does need to shore up if and when the Bears are ever going to become a really big threat in this NFC, right? But that should not mean that you can't acknowledge where the growth has come. And for so many people, too many people, as a matter of fact, they choose not to acknowledge the things that Caleb Williams has turned around, the things and places that Caleb Williams has developed as a quarterback, just to focus on what they want to naysay about Caleb Williams. And that's the part that, to me, is silly, it's stupid, it's dumb. And, we'll see how it continues to develop and grow for Caleb Williams. But Caleb is really playing some really good football. And you look at the first half of last week versus the second half of last week, on Sunday, all those type of things, you are seeing a guy that's developing. And this team, it may not be pretty how they're getting it done, but they are getting wins. They are finding ways to get it done. And I'll tell you what, I'd rather be talking about finding ways to win And even if those ways are rough, they're talking about losing close games. That's what I'd rather be talking about. And some of y'all that watch this team every single day that are just ready or wanting to more so be right than appreciate this team and the thing that they're growing through, you're gonna find yourself on the other side of history. And that's all I can say about that. And let's see this team keep putting in that work, keep developing, keep growing as a team. And I think those things are going to work out really well for this team in the long haul. But you guys, as always, can let me know how you feel on that down below. With that said, I want to talk about Ben Johnson and talking about a lineup change that's coming to the Chicago Bears team. Many people will know that the Bears have been ravaged in the secondary with their cornerbacks all season long, right? And with Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon both returning, it's now putting players like Nahshon Wright and CJ Gardner-Johnson in a place where their roles aren't going to necessarily be as clearly defined as what it's been. And for what it's worth, Ben Johnson said this. In regards to this time, he was talking about Nahshon Wright. He's done a phenomenal job. I think he has certainly earned playtime. And I think this also is something that extends to CJ Gardner-Johnson. And when you look at Dennis Allen, the way that he likes to use defensive backs, the fact that he likes to have a lot of defensive backs out there, I think there's still going to be more than enough opportunity for those guys. You're now looking at, once Kyler and Jalen Johnson coming back, you're looking at rolling for the rest of the season, knock on wood that there's no more injuries. You're looking at rolling with a cornerback crew of Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and Nahshon Wright as 5 of your cornerbacks there. And I tell you what, I feel pretty confident in that. I think you look at the varying skills and degrees. Of course, you have ball hawks. You have guys in CJ Gardner-Johnson and Kyler Gordon that can line up and everything from run support to everything else, make athletic plays. All those type of things are going to be there for this team, and I think that that's huge. Ben Johnson goes on to say this. It was one of the most athletic plays and phenomenal catches I think I've seen in a long time, talking about the interception by Nahshon Wright. What's undersung about what Shoney is doing right now, how much he's influencing the run game. Coming up, he's tackling the ball carrier. They're throwing a bubble screen, and he's knifing through that play. Having Kyler Gordon, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Nahshon Wright, Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, I am telling you what right now, that is a cornerback in the secondary, adding to Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker. That's something to get excited about. You get to TJ Edwards, hopefully Tremaine Edmonds back too by the playoffs. Now you're starting to rock and roll. Montez, who I'm going to talk about here to end the show, is on a great run as a run stopper. I'm sorry, a pass rusher as well. And those are things that you like to see. This team, and I've said this before, that we haven't seen the best of Dennis Allen's play calling yet. And part of that has been because he hasn't had the defensive backs that he needs to make his system the most fluid that we're possibly going to see it. We're getting closer and closer to that becoming a reality. And that happening now over this playoff push, that's exactly where you want it to happen at, because now you're going to have the opportunity to, as you're going to the playoffs, you're getting healthier. And you're adding a whole different dynamic to your team in play calling. Kyler's going to move to linebacker sometimes. Now you can have C.J. Garner still be the spy. There'll still be a guy that can run blitz in that time as well. Nahshon Wright and what he's doing also. You're looking at a team now that can add a whole different dynamic to it. And I tell you what, you got to get everybody up to speed and hope that everybody's going to be able to get up to game speed and get over the amount of time that they've been out. But if that does happen, you are now looking at a team that has so much more to offer you defensively and so much more versatility that could keep teams on their heels offensively all season long. And that is something that if you're getting to the playoffs, as you're getting into matchups with the Eagles, when you're getting to matchups, whoever you're facing off against the playoffs, if you make it, that's something that they're going to have to try to game plan for. And because Dennis Allen is so versatile in that play calling and the dynamics there, that's something that completely opened the game up for the Chicago Bears. So keep a lookout for that, because I think that that's something that you really want to look at that can turn the tides for this defense a little bit. We know the defensive numbers haven't been great this season for the Chicago Bears, but this defense have made some big plays when they needed to the most. And that's what you're going to hope continues when you have a different dynamic like what the Bears could be adding as well. And we just got to see how that's going to work out for this team, man. But I'm excited. I'm hopeful. And it seems like Ben Johnson, and I know Dennis Allen's probably excited as well about getting those defensive backs back for this team and then what that could look like for the dynamic of this team as well. And let's see if they can do it. Let's see what it looks like when they get back. But with that said, I have two things that I want to look at as we go through the final 6 games of the season. I want to acknowledge some things, talk about some things. The first one is Montez Sweat. When we made Montez Sweat the highest paid player on this team, right? We did, after a trade from the Washington Commanders, we expected him to be the anchor of the defensive line, the anchor of the pass rush. And that didn't necessarily follow through last season, right? But then Now you look at it in this year, 7.5 sacks on the season, on pace to have double-digit sacks as well. It's been great. When you look at where he's been since facing the Commanders this year, since week 6, over those 6 games, he has totaled 6.5 sacks, 9 QB hits, 8 tackles for a loss, 2 forced fumbles, 2 pass breakups. He had his best game of the season as well against the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he had 2 sacks in that game and 3 tackles for a loss and forced a fumble and 2 QB hits. Montez Sweat is starting to look like the player that we paid him to be. And if that's what he's going to be over this playoff push and hopefully a playoff run, I tell you what, it adds a whole nother dynamic for this team. Now, yeah, we've had players, Dayo Odeyingbo, out for the season. Austin Booker hasn't quite been kind of the umph that I was hoping he was going to be once he came back to this team, but still been productive overall. With the injuries that we've had on defense and the fact that we're getting healthier and getting some of those players back, if Montez Sweat continues this run that he's been on this season, I tell you what, right now, it's going to be difficult. I'm not saying that the Bears defense is back to the monsters of the Midway or anything like that, but it's going to be more difficult than what the numbers will tell you to move the ball against the Chicago Bears, and Montez Sweat has been a huge part of that, and I wanted to take some time out to give him his flowers because I was criticizing him heavily and harsh when he was not living up to that. When we had those games where it felt like, hell, did you see Montez Sweat do anything today? Now that those have been eliminated, now you get to see an opportunity for Montez to step up, step out, and continue this run. And I think that's going to bode really well for this Chicago Bears team. Next up, I want to talk about the Bears rookie class, man. The rookie class has just been getting gooder and gooder, as the pastors would say. You look at Colston Loveland and the performance that he had with 4 catches, 49 yards, and a touchdown. You look at Luther Burden with 3 catches for 46 yards. You look at Kyle Monangai in a game where DeAndre Swift was disappointing. Kyle Monangai stood up. Ozzie Trapillo got his first start, and he played really well, right? Then you look at Luke Newman as well, had a fill-in at fullback at a point in time in Sunday's game. The Bears rookie class is really starting to find their stride, and that's something that I'm really excited about. Ruben Hippolyte is going to have an opportunity now here over the next 3 weeks before Tremaine Edmonds can come back to be a starter in there and show what he can bring. So this rookie class is looking really good. And there are some people that doubted the Bears rookie class, right? Because, they looked at some of the other rookie classes around the NFL and how they were being utilized more often and stuff like that. And I'll say this, it seems like Dennis Allen is starting to find the right path and right stride for those guys at the right time. And now, a few weeks ago, a month ago, when I said, trust your rookies, right? And how that could add something, because that adds you a different dynamic that's not going to be fully on the scouting report because you're adding something in here. Luther Burden's playing way more snaps now. Kamanan guy's looking like a back that you're going to be able to trust in the playoffs. Those are the things that make a difference for this Bears team. And I wanted to point those 2 aspects out because keep a lookout for that over the last 6 games. Because if that keeps being a strong suit for the Bears, that means it also is going to be a strong suit in the playoffs. And then we're off to the races. But with that said, we do got one voicemail that I want to play today. This one's from 7.
Peace and blessings. What's good? It's your boy 7. Inglewood's on right now in your zone. And man, Haize, I gotta give you your props, bro. I gotta give you your props because at the beginning of the season, I asked who was gonna be like the identity or who would be like the main focal point, I guess, of the Bears defense. Who would be the face of the defense? I think is what I said. And at that time, you said the face of the defense is gonna be Dennis Allen. And I just got to give you props. You was right. You were absolutely right. Because it seems, regardless, week in, week out, it doesn't matter who the actual or who we going up against. Somebody's going to step up. Whether it's the secondary, linebackers, D-line. This time it was Sweat and the secondary doing it. You know what I'm saying? So it was a great performance all in all, and the defense just keeps bringing it week in, week out, and it seems like it don't even matter who is on the field. They're just going to bring it. And I got to say, that's a wonderful thing to see because, anybody who knows or has history of the Monsters of the Midway knows that that's how we play. That's how we play ball. Now, I'd love to see them not, give up the run as much as they did to the likes of Gainwell and some of the other running backs we've gone against. But all in all, man, we are doing our thing, and I can't be more happy with where the Bears are, especially considering the fact that Eberflus had to go, 5, 6, 8 years before he got to 8 wins. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that, and I just wanted your thoughts on that. But had to give you props and let you know when you're right, you're right. All right, then. But other than that, shots on up. Bet out. 2.
Dennis Allen being the face of this defense is a good thing because he is setting the standard in that locker room for what the expectations that he has for his defense. him and Al Harris, they've done an amazing job. And then when you look at what Dennis Allen has done as far as from a schematic standpoint, missing a key players in the most important position group in his system, and that is the defensive backfield. All the injuries that we've had there and how he's still been able to coach us to the defense that we've had, get stops, those type of things, has been huge for this team, and you can't deny it. So, yeah, I did think that Dennis Allen was going to be the face of this defense. I thought he was going to be the identity of this defense, at least for this first year, and it seems to be working out for the Bears. Now, we're going to have to find some players and establish our own identity, but for this season, the Bears have done a really good job at establishing that, and I appreciate that. Like, Dennis Allen I was really excited about Dennis. I'm a defensive guy. Even though I was a running back, I'm a defensive guy. I love when the Bears are great, the defense is usually great. I think that Dennis Allen is going to coach that great defense while he's here in Chicago. I think injuries have limited that this season, but as things go on, I trust that Dennis Allen is going to have this Bears team back to earning the label of the Monsters of the Midway. But that is my time for today, guys. I appreciate you guys so much, as always, man, for tapping in with me today. The team keeps finding ways to win, and the growth is real. And, that's all I got to say about that. If you want to follow us, you can do so at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.